maybe I'll say like your connection to LinkedIn isn't working or Rumble or one of the other ones, Facebook account, if you're not connected. But here it says an error occurred, wait a minute, and then try again.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it says it's showtime.
Okay, so, oh, there we go. Hey,
We're
we are live.
we're
Okay,
on.
okay, we're on, and we got Shannon back. Hey, welcome to our home bar seminar. Late to technical issues. I guess everybody is having technical issues in the world these days. I'm Bill Gross. Welcome to our home bar seminar. Welcome back to from our trip in Hawaii.
Mhm.
Patricia Castillo, say hi, Patricia.
Patricia Castillo.
She's got that vacation glow.
Glad to be here.
Now you don't know she's really home or not because that's a fake background. Are you back in California? Or are you still in Hawaii?
I am. No, I'm back.
And are you sober or are you still hungover?
I'm back. I'm in full force and effect.
Okay, well, but she's smiling a lot more than she used to, so something happened there in Hawaii. And Shannon the Lander. Shannon, what's going on?
How's it going, guys? It's going great.
And we do this every Wednesday about 5 o'clock. We live stream it on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So if you're there watching us, feel free to jump in and say hi, ask questions. We love to have you participate, and that's really what this thing is all about. So let's see, a little excitement in the interest rate market, Shannon.
Why are you upset?
No, I said a little excitement.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you said you're upset. I was like, why are you upset?
No, I'm good. I'm all good.
No, yes. Very, very interesting
Excitement.
stuff happening. Yes, very excitement. I don't know if you want to pull up, but it looks like inflation is really going down, and it's finally hit the twos. So we're at 2.9 right now.
So the arc you sent me just flipped to a paywall thing.
Oh, it did?
It did after it sat there for a while. Let me try one more time. Share request. No, that's not there. Go ahead. So go ahead and you start. I'll bring it up.
Yeah. So pretty much what's going on is the inflation numbers came out, and right now we are finally hitting the 2%. So if you can't see the article right now, the inflation is at 2.9% right now, which is pretty much very, very good because the Fed said that they're going to be pretty much their goal was being at 2% inflation rate. And since we're at 2.9, this is a very, very good sign. And this is the one number that the Feds kept pretty much bashing and saying that, look, in order for us to cut rates, the number one thing that has to go down is inflation, right? They said that we want the inflation at 2%. We want it at 2%. Everything else counts, right? They're looking at the jobs report as well. They're looking at all these things, but what do they keep saying? They keep saying we need inflation to be at 2%. And the fact is the numbers came out at 2.9% is a really, really big deal. So, I mean, this is pretty much the indicator that they're saying that they're looking at in order to cut rates. And with September just around the corner, if we keep on this track, I don't see a reason why they shouldn't cut rates. But again, with the Feds, it's a box of chocolates, right? We don't know what we're going to get at that meeting. I can only tell you this is what they've told us that they need in order for the rate cuts to start, and they're getting it now. It's happening. So this is very good news. And I'll just give you an example. I'm going to quote, let's say at someone at 720 FHA, FICO putting 3.5% down. Right now, you can probably get a 5.25, right?
Wow, that's amazing.
So again, we're getting lower. Even with just the news of this happening, the banks are already softening their rates. Again, it hasn't been, a big mass news everywhere saying, hey, banks have already lowered their rates. But I'm telling you guys, just on the back end, what I'm seeing when I'm quoting these rates, I'm seeing rates already go down just with this news. Because first it was, we're not raising rates at all. Remember, we were just thankful that they weren't raising rates anymore. Right. That news actually still dropped down rates a little bit, right? Just the fact that news came out, banks were actually lowering their rates. But with this news, I can already see rates dropping down a little bit because I was at 5.6, 5.7. Now I'm at 5.25 on FHA. So, I mean, they're already starting to come down. So if you guys are looking to buy and you're waiting for rates to come down, technically we're already there. We're already here. Rates are already in the mid to low fives. If you're on FHA, if you're conventional and you have a great FICO, I can probably be around a 5.99 to 6. So it's already happening. It's already happening. So as we always say, make sure to do your homework, do your due diligence and get in now. But that's where we're at.
Those are great rates, especially for first-time home buyers.
Yes.
So I'm going to agree with about half of what you said.
Okay.
I'm going to disagree with half of what you said.
Okay. Let's see. Tell me the good half and then tell me the bad half.
The good half is the rates are lower. And if you've been looking to buy, and, I think too many buyers get a little too picky on the first house.
Right.
Here's your chance to maybe, instead of be particular on the price to negotiate that last $30,000 or $40,000, take it in the form of a low rate by the last year's standards and lock in forever a 30-year fixed rate at, what'd you say today? 30-year fixed conventional today would be how much?
5.25.
You'll never pay higher than that. And if interest rates and inflation go up, you're at 5.25. And if rates go up, you can rent out the house. If rates go up, your house unit's fixed.
Right.
Historic opportunity. Jump on it, particularly if you've already been pre-approved, you're out looking at houses, get an approval, lock it and close it. Now, I do think that what we have is a constant, all of governing forces game being played on us, so that magically inflation's down. I don't know about you, but when I drive to the gas station, gas prices seem pretty high to me. When I go to the market, nothing's lower, nothing is about the same. My water delivery went up. They charge more for the bottles, the delivery service, the deliveries.
Oh, wow.
Everything goes up at more than 3% per year in my experience that I'm paying for. And now, good news for me, I'm making a lot of money. I'm not experiencing hardship of people who have to choose between groceries and rent or groceries and medicine. So I'm not crying the blues. But what I will say is that I don't think it's real. I don't think inflation is below 3%. But the Fed wants to have a justification to cut rates to look good, feel good. So take advantage of it. And I'm not saying, therefore, be righteous and not. I'm saying if you can buy a house and lock it in, like I'm an escrow on a property, it's a long-term escrow. I would love to close this month. We're actually giving incentive to the seller to close it now. We're not supposed to close at the end of the year. I'm giving incentive to close now because I'd love to lock in the rate now. And instead of flipping it, I might keep it as a rental for 2 years because the rates are so good. So I'm all for taking advantage of it. Like, play the cards that you're dealt, but at the same time, let's be smart and realize we're all being played. Everything's great now. Why? Because the government's running for re-election, so every politician's going to tell us what a great job they've done. So believe it or not, but more importantly, protect yourself, save money, cut your costs, and I think real estate is in the long run one of the best ways of protecting yourself. So I'm all for that. Take advantage of that.
Yeah, and another thing too.
And I also want to point out, last week Shannon was here and rates went down. Last week Patricia was not here and rates went down. So you do the math on that one. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, okay? Just if you know, you know. I'm just saying.
There you go.
You know, that's right.
Another thing, the last thing, and I'll take it back to you guys, is another thing that goes down are the down payment assistance programs. Right now, let's see where CalHalf rates are. But when those go down, they're at 6.125, and they were in the sevens.
Nice.
Very not too long ago. So if you're trying to get CalHalf doing the down payment assistance program, FHA, you're already at 6.125 right now. So that's also gone down as well. So as conventional rates go down, also everything else goes down. Even DSCR, if you're looking to investment loans, I think I quoted someone right now at like 7 I think it was. So again, with that, everything starts coming down once that one goes. So again, this is, like you said, I think Bill is right on that, is take advantage now, don't gamble. And again, if you were looking at what your payment options were before, and for any agents out there, or anyone who's already been qualified, go back to your lender and say, what do I qualify now with that rate, and see what happens.
Yeah, I think along with everything as far as the rates and payments, that's always something that's important to buyers, but especially first time buyers, they're really pencil everything out to make sure that it's all going to make sense for them and that it's going to be affordable. And one of the other things that's, going to impact the way buyers are purchasing homes is the new NAR settlement that's going to become effective as of August 17th.
Yeah, talk about that.
So just touching base on that, buyers before could click on, Redfin or Zillow and just go see a property and not really be committed to that realtor, or maybe even be serious about buying a home. Maybe they just wanted to go tour the home and take a look at it. Maybe they were looking at it for their daughter or their friend. But in this case, with the lawsuit that's going to be effective as of August 17th, buyers are now going to have to sign a buyer broker agency agreement that's going to ratify that relationship. So if you are interested in going to see a property and taking a tour, scheduling a showing, you are going to have to be accompanied by a realtor and sign that property or that buyer broker agreement that states basically the realtor is going to have their fee for the services they provide as a realtor. And it's going to be completely transparent and disclosed to the buyer up front. Now, when an offer is made, maybe the seller will offer a concession to the buyer. But if the seller does not want to pay that concession, then the buyer will have to pay for their service to the realtor. So these are things that, are going to definitely be impacting some buyers, because some may not mind paying a fee for a realtor, and some may think that, they can't or they don't want to. I mean, they might struggle with it a little bit, but, it's kind of like thinking about if you were going to hire, an attorney, or, you're paying for a service, you're hiring a dentist. I mean, you have to pay for that service, right? And in some cases, the seller might pay, or maybe you can negotiate. Maybe your realtor can negotiate that the seller might pay 50% of that concession and the buyer pays the other 50%. But nonetheless, the buyers will have to sign a buyer broker agreement to either tour one property. It can be just for one specific property, or it can be for multiple properties. That doesn't include open houses. But if you are looking to buy a home and you have not established a relationship yet with the realtor, this is a good time to start interviewing realtors and seeing, which one might be a good fit for you.
Question, because I haven't yet seen on the buyer's final settlement statement, at least the ones that I've been doing so far. Obviously, since it's so new, right? I guess I haven't seen it yet. But in your experience, are sellers still willing to pay for the buyer agent commission? I mean, I know you do so many listings, so you probably, out of everyone, have the more insight on this, and maybe you too, Bill, on the probate side. What are listing agents doing? Are sellers still willing to pay for it, or are you seeing their sentiment change and say, no, I have them pay for it? What are you guys seeing on your end, or on your listings? Are the sellers willing to still pay for the buyer commissions, or have they changed your heart?
Yeah, I mean, on the listings I have right now that I just took recently, I explained everything to the seller, because it's up to them if they're going to decide, yes, we do want to pay that concession. But I think it also depends on the offer, right? That is made. The seller may not need to pay for the concession, or they may decide, this offer is better terms, better price. So they may at that time decide, okay, they're going to, offer a buyer concession. So the listings that I have, though, to answer your question, Shannon, my clients have, they haven't really blinked an eye on it. They're in agreement to pay a concession to the buyer to cover that fee. And it can only be up to a certain amount. You could say, because you have to note it on the listing agreement that your seller is going to pay up to maybe 1% or up to 2%. Or you could just say seller is willing to offer a concession and determine that when the offer is made.
Got it. Oh, Bill, you're muted.
So there's nothing preventing a sharp buyer, from making an offer with a concession, even if the seller hasn't offered it. And so that's one of the interesting questions. With my sellers, I said to look, if we agree the commission would be 5%, nothing's changed. What's changed is how we structure it. Now you can only pay me, and we can't pay the buyer's agent. I can't pay them, and you can't pay them. But what you can do is have the buyer pay the buyer's agent, and you can offset that expense like any other expense you might choose with a credit or concession. And I said, so we should expect we're going to get offers with a wide range of requests of concessions, from zero, their agents who aren't paying attention, or can't sell their buyer on why they want to do it, or they don't ask for concession, but they've already agreed with their buyer to get paid. I don't really care either way. I only care if they're asking my seller to pay for it. So I think that these things are going to work through them. Now, a couple of things I would caution everybody, and if you're listening to this and you're a seller, there's a lot of press. I think the news organizations are really about destroying entrepreneurship and businesses. And they want to phase it as, all realtors are overpaid, and this is going to reduce their commissions. What they're going to find is there are agents who aren't willing to do work that they used to do because you're not going to get paid for it. And so if you don't pay somebody to do the job, they're not going to do it. And if you need them to do it, then it goes undone. And so it's not quite that simple. And I think that you have to, an educated customer is an empowered customer. Our job is to explain to them the options. An agent who's empowered and has information can support his customer. There are a lot of buyer's agents out there who still don't understand there's no commission in the MLS for them as of the 17th. And if they want to get paid, they have to have a conversation with the buyer. They better get in writing. And if they don't, that's their problem, not my problem.
Yeah. And actually, now that I thought about it, I did have an agent call me and ask how much money do they have, because I guess the way the listing agent phrased it was, if you give me full price, I will give you X amount. But if it's below that, and if we land below that, you're going to get less. And so he's calling me saying, hey, I want them to split the bill. If we get accepted below list, do you know how much money they have? What's going on? So I don't know. It was kind of a weird conversation because I didn't want to just divulge, oh yeah, they have this much to pay you. I don't know. It was such a weird conversation. I said, I feel comfortable if we just get the buyer on the phone to kind of talk about that, because I don't want to speak for them. You know what I mean? And I don't want to just, I don't know. It was a weird conversation. So
it's weird. And I think because a lot of realtors are going to experience that maybe fear or anxiety of speaking to their clients about the new commission structure, that sounds like they're putting it on you as a loan officer to discuss their financials and what they can pay. But it's really the real estate agent's job to educate their client and explain to them how that's going to work.
Yeah.
First of all, I see we have a question from Eric. Eric, reach out to me personally. I'd be glad to get more details with you if you need a probate attorney. I think there's more to it than just here's the best probate attorney. The question is, what's the best probate attorney for you or your client? So reach out to me directly, and I'd be glad to, at Bill Gross Probate or BillGrossProbate.com, be glad to help you. I think one of the things that's misunderstood is, in any negotiation, the power goes with the leverage. As an agent, I have leverage in that I'm going to get paid either way. I have a listing agreement. The buyer's agent may or may not get paid. The seller has a house they're going to sell. They're going to get paid either way. The buyer may or may not get the house. And so what's happened is, despite what all the reporting is, the people going to really get screwed are the buyer's agents, the newer buyer's agents, the ones who are the next generation, and the buyers. The buyers who choose weak agents, and the buyers even of good agents, because their agents don't have as much leverage. They've lost leverage in negotiation. So I think the best thing all of us to do is get educated, learn the process, learn your procedures, learn your documents. I'm with EXP. We have the option of company documents and using the car forms, which is a great advantage. Use the ones that best serve you and your customers. And get informed. We have had 1 million petitions. I don't know if you participate in them, but I've listened to Leo Preja a few times. I've listened to Debbie Penny a few times. I've listened to Card a few times. And I've listened to about parts of 7 or 8 different seminars on this to learn. And it changes. And you know what? It all could change on Friday again.
It's all, yeah, I was going to say, even though there's
What do you mean
forms
it can all change on Friday again?
Because the last time this was set to implement a month ago, and the last time this happened, the Department of Justice, your government, said, no, we don't like the settlement, and scared everybody in the industry to stop and say, whoa, 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 what's the problem? And basically threatened to sue anybody who violated their rules. And so some overeducated idiot Department of Justice attorney, one attorney in Washington, D.C., changes the whole industry for another month. And that's the problem we have with regulators is we have a business now that went from being more about business people regulating ourselves, realtors cooperated with the MLS, cooperated with the forums and such, to the government taking over, and then one court in St. Louis, one judge, one jury, one lawsuit, changing the whole industry. And then you have one attorney, the Department of Justice, saying, well, no, I'm not happy with that result. I want this instead. So this all could change again. And I'm not saying this to complain. I'm saying, this is a competitive business. I'm a competitor. I'm a warrior. And I'm going to defend my customers and get them what they want. If you're in this business, you need to roll up your sleeves, learn the documents, get trained, because it's going to be a challenging transition. Challenging is good for those of us who take on the work and do the job. Challenging is bad for those that don't support their customers.
Yeah. Do you think this will incite more buyers going directly with the listing agents?
Buyers looking for listing agents. I think there'll be a lot more of that. Mm-hmm. As a listing agent, though, I don't want that. I don't want to be bothered with it. To be honest, it's so, I'm saying this, I'm admitting this in front of Patricia, who I've referred a couple buyer leads to. But we work together on some of my listings. But to be honest, I'm trying to keep up on my side of the job as a listing agent. I know that she has her job to do on her end. I don't know they know how I would do it. I haven't really thought it through. I'm not showing property. So I don't have to know that yet today. But it's not simple. I think that buyers who choose just to go to the listing agent are going to be poorly served. They're going to get pawned off. Most agents work with teams. So even though you think you're working with a listing agent, you're going to work with some brand new, poorly trained, poorly overseen person who's giving up a lot of their commission. You're not going to get the listing agent you think you're getting. So most people aren't happy with that relationship. So will that happen? I'm sure it will. But I don't think that's necessarily a good thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Good. This is good information for me and for a lot of people.
I think a lot of buyers, will think, you know what, I don't have a realtor. I'm just going to work with a listing agent, right? But then the listing agent still needs to get that document signed, the buyer broker, and there still needs to be a commission paid to represent the buyer. You're still acting as a dual agent, right? And so, again, is your buyer going to pay that fee, or is your seller going to compensate you for managing the other side of the transaction from representing the buyer?
Or if a buyer who just goes to Zillow and finds 3 properties they like, and they want to see all 3, are they going to sign agreements with 3 different agents? Right? No. Just let me answer the question. No, they're not. So will then they only be represented by the listing agent who improperly doesn't require a written agreement? I'm sure that will happen a lot. Zillow, one of the forces of evil in the world, said, we'll solve the problem. We'll create our own agreement. Won't that be great? Well, if every buyer in America signed our agreement, no, don't worry, we're not going to compete with you. We're just friendly Zillow. We're just, blue and happy and all that. And then one day, boom, they're real estate agents, and they have every buyer's agreement, email address, phone number on their system, and that's their goal, to destroy the business, as if it was that easy. So, we're entering uncharted territory. I don't think anybody knows the answer to the questions. You're asking great questions, and we're going to work through this together. I'm fine to work on it with Patricia. We'll cover each other. I think she knows I'll cover her, and I know she'll cover me. But there are other agents who won't. Like I've had Patricia and I just put on the market 8 new listings in the last week, and I had buyer leads call me, and I tell them I don't represent the buyers. I can refer you to a colleague. Well, yeah, but can you just answer this question? Well, legally I can't. And I try to tell people that. I'm not really legally able to tell you the price, the terms, except for showing that's being your agent. You need to talk to an agent, and they need to acknowledge that relationship and then sign a form and represent you. So I think some of customers don't understand these rules because they're nonsense, but they are theoretically designed for the protection of the buyers primarily. So we're entering into very uncharted times. Eric, to answer your second question, she's actually co-listing with me 8 properties in Los Angeles throughout probate, on top of she's sold other probate listings and represent buyers on probate transactions I've worked on with her. She does a great job, and we work together. I can say that with all confidence. Reach out to Patricia. Her phone number is right there if you have questions on a probate attorney, and she also knows, I think, the right questions to ask you there. So feel free to reach out to her.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Bill.
Except for when she's in Hawaii, sitting on the pool drinking pina coladas while I'm working, then I'm not really a big fan of hers at all, I have to be honest. Shannon and I both threw her under the bus a few times last week.
Here, I was in Hawaii, although a little challenging because, we're 3 hours behind over there. So clients were calling me at, 5 in the morning, and it's really 8 o'clock over here. So I was resting.
Shannon, is your heart bleeding Kool-Aid for the fact that she's in Hawaii getting phone calls from customers while in Hawaii?
So yes, I was still working, Bill. I was on a beautiful island, but I was still working.
Yeah, we're all very sympathetic. We're all very broken up over that.
But I was going to comment on as far as the new structure that we're all going to be dealing with. As far as agents, we are facing hefty fines if we do not comply with all of the documents that need to be signed by buyers and by our sellers. And even if, let's say, I have a few listings that are in escrow, so the listings that are in escrow do not require any type of amendment with the original listing agreements. The listings that are not sold yet, that are still on the market, you do have to go in and add a couple of more documents and have your seller sign. And so I'm working on that, getting everything signed before August 17th, because the fine is $2,500.
Wow.
So, and it can go up from there.
So it's interesting that on that point, one of the first seminars I listened to said that, we as a company are going to pay, if we're representing the seller, the listing agent will not be allowed to pay the buyer's agent commission, which is the old system,
right,
as of August 17th on new transactions.
Yeah.
And so I explained this to my attorney on a probate, and he goes, well, we should put that in the listing, in the remarks to the agents, that you won't pay that, and also that we won't, meaning the attorney representing the seller says, we want to put in the MLS that we will not pay the buyer's commission. I thought, well, he's an attorney, so I put it in there. Down in a seminar with Debbie Penny, our broker, says, no, you can't even mention that. You can't mention, not you not pay them, you can't even mention that you won't pay them.
Yeah.
So I took that out.
Wait, you can't mention
anything related to compensation, whether it's $0 or $1 or a percent. You cannot mention anything about compensation in the MLS.
You can't pay them, and you can't say you won't pay them, which to me is complete idiocy, right? Let's have what's clarity? Clarity is the truth. The truth is we are never going to pay our buyer's agent commission. Now, the buyer might pay them, and the seller might give compensation to a buyer that they agree to in writing, and the buyer can use that money to pay their agent. That's what's going to happen. But we will, as a company, never allow a listing agent to pay the buyer's agent's commission. That's our company policy, in black and white, said out loud, no arguments. That said, I can't put that in my listing.
Right.
That's a violation. The truth.
Wow.
So the whole thing is.
I saw a funny meme, Bill, where it was a picture of a little Post-it note that said 3%, and it was inside the super box. Where the keys are. So anybody showing the property will know they're going to get paid 3%.
That's so funny. That is so funny.
Yeah.
What a time. What a time.
Crazy times. Eric puts work in Hawaii, the dream. I don't know how much work she did when she was in Hawaii. I'm just going to say, I'm not complaining about Patricia. I'm just saying She said she was working in Hawaii. I'm not so sure I believe that. I'm just saying.
I was.
Shannon, was she working in Hawaii? What do you think?
Just like these buyer commissions, I'd rather just not say. I don't want to say she was. I don't want to say she wasn't. Right?
I'm going to say I'm going to throw the penalty flag on that one and say.
I have to be. I have escrows to manage and listings to manage, and Bill. We were communicating, so yeah.
Well, I tried not to. I knew that you were leaving, and then I tried not to talk to you. Got back as best I could. In fact, my first comment to you on Monday was, "Are you back? Or are you still on the pool?" So.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's a wrap for this week. I think we got a little long, actually. But it's an interesting topic. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have questions on this, please feel free to reach out in the chat box afterwards or to us directly. Patricia, somebody's get a hold of you. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
My best method is my cell phone, 323-365-9909.
Very good. And Shannon, the lender. Shannon, what is it? Shannon for Fund? No, what's your Instagram handle?
Fund with Shannon.
Fund with Shannon, FUND. He's frozen on the video. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
So Fund with Shannon is the Instagram handle. Fund, FUND, with Shannon. Not Fun with Shannon. That's his OnlyFans page.
Okay.
And he's frozen. He can't answer there. Sorry, Shannon. And I'm BillGrossProbate.com or at BillGrossProbate on social media. We do this every Wednesday about 5 o'clock. Love to have you guys ask your questions, ask questions. Thanks for your support.
Yeah.
Shannon, how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
Yes, it's at Fund FUND with Shannon on Instagram, and my number 661-317-8484.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.